Alright, hey everyone. I believe the Earth is flat, and this is why. I'm not going to get into too many details, okay? I'm not going to really explain the math or these things. There's a lot of great YouTubers out there, namely Eric Dubay, um, who really go into history and explaining the truth about the flat Earth, and people who do experimentation. I've done the research for myself, and I've discerned for myself, and I believe it's flat. And I'm just going to go over a few of the reasons why I believe it's flat and why I've kind of always been on the fence about the globe model and why I've never really cared, and now why I actually do believe it's flat. And so here's some photos. Basically, I'm showing a bunch of photos I put together that I wanted to put into a video and pretty much compile my thoughts about why I believe the Earth is flat. Well, number one, water, right? Observable to every human being. It's not something that, it's not like, NASA telescopes and rockets are reserved, how they're reserved for specific groups of people who then come out and tell us what we have, what they have us believe. When in fact, the world around us, the natural world, nature, we can observe that ourselves. We can see that. And, look how the sky meets the ocean. Similar, right? Ocean above and ocean below. The firmament, or the firmament above is the firmament below. Water's above, water's below. Look at, why is the sky meets the water, it's always the same. Reflectance, mirrored. Point is, I believe that through observation, again, the way rainbows, sunshine, the way light reflects through the sky, the way it bends, is proof of a dome, some type of a structure. We could be underwater. And in the Gulf of Mexico, interestingly enough, this is Florida, Cape Canaveral, Florida. In the Gulf of Mexico, they've discovered underwater that these mollusks, these shells, or these like clams or whatever, create a ring. And in that ring is a denser form of water. Water within water. And that alone, to me, again, when you're debunking these things, you're debunking gravity. What you're left with, density, buoyancy, weight, velocity, force, trajectory. Okay, and things go up and come down and stay where they are because of the mass, weight, density, these types of things. Gravity does not exist. Gravity is not a godly factor. It's not this all-knowing, all-prevailing, ever-changing, omnipresent, omnipotent force that, is just there. It's not true. And look at water. It's flat. It always finds level ground. You go to any beach, you go to anywhere in the world, look at the horizon. It's always rising to the eye of the observer. You go up in a plane, the horizon is always eye level. It's level. Horizon is always level. Sea level. All right, but here's a photo of NASA Cape Canaveral. Now, it's interesting to note that a majority of the facilities, the space stations, space facilities in the world, most notably this one, most famous this one, like this is the main thing. This is NASA, right? It's the headquarters. They're always by water. Interesting, right? They're always by water, Especially, why did they choose this location? Ever question that? Florida, Cape Canaveral, Bermuda Triangle, Gulf of Mexico, water, right? I'm going to get to that in a moment. 95% of our oceans are still completely unexplored. Here's NASA in their suits underwater. Isn't that interesting? They train underwater. In fact, some of the footage that they show us is fake, and it's footage underwater. So not only do they train underwater, but a lot of the footage that was shown to us is underwater footage. Okay? Forward. There you go. Horizon line. Yep. So just think about it. Here, bridges. You can take a look at, you can pause the video and take a look at some of these photos, but, bridge, architects and people will tell you, a lot of people in the field of building and land surveying will tell you, can show you the mathematics. They ignore the curvature because it doesn't exist, and they'll come out and tell you, they don't build for curvature. Here's from Game of Thrones show that came out recently. It's brainwashing everybody, and of course, common theme. Fucking giant ice wall and beings over the ice wall. And not only that, but we've in recent years, since the flat earth has taken up a lot of people's attention, not only have we had a lot of theoretical scientists and physicists come out and say a bunch of bullshit, we've had a lot of reemergence with NASA and space agencies around the world. We've had movies and television shows all the way up until today, December 2016. Movies and television shows revisiting space, revisiting the idea of aliens, Antarctica, mentions of this, throughout. And of course, time travel is a very frequent one. But again, aliens, it's ridiculous how they're laughing in our faces blatantly with these messages. Here's some different things. Question everything. Here's more, scuba suits underwater. Here's a picture of the Truman Show. You get the Ed Helms connection. Look up actors and actor synchronicity. A lot of actors reprise their roles or play roles in movies with similar plots or similar meanings because they're using an actor as an image to represent an idea, an ideology. And so it's similar to how Samuel L. Jackson plays a lot of have the same roles. For example, Will Smith, a lot of his characters are reminiscent of a similar role. You find this a lot in actors. That's why they did Jim Carrey, Bruce Almighty. Here's the eye. I forget why I collected some of these images and explain them, but okay, here's the one the guy drops and it's flat there. Here's this is actually a military ship. This is a ship guarding Antarctica. Interesting to note that one of the oldest and most mysterious military or world commissions people don't even know about or think about. People, they have no idea. Bigger than the UN, bigger than all this stuff, is the Antarctic Commission. Why don't majority of people know about the Antarctic Commission? Why don't they talk about that? Why is how strange it is that is the most nations coming together for a common goal. And what's that common goal? To keep you out of Antarctica. To pretty much all militaries, all governments patrol Antarctica. What the hell is that? What sense does that make? Antarctica, that's a continent that is supposed to be completely barren and unlivable, and temperatures far below zero. So why do we have mass military patrols around Antarctica? I mean, it's just fucking blatantly obvious. And then no one talks about these things. They just go on teaching you the same bullshit in school. No one questions the fact that there's, for the longest, most historic treaty in history still established, and it's the Antarctic Commission. Most nations involved, and all that they're involved in. Meanwhile, they're fighting each other elsewhere, and all this other news we get about people hating each other and nations fighting. Yet, there you go, Antarctic Commission, bigger than the UN, bigger than all this other stuff. Many nations coming together to pretty much hide the truth about Antarctica. Interesting, right? Let's move on. Noah's Ark. Boats, flood. That thing about dinosaurs and dinosaurs. Here's another show they came out with. The Dome. Because after all, folks, hey, be distracted. I'm a celebrity now, so believe every word. It's like, we won't actually debate. Even if we're right, it all alludes to questioning. We can't afford that. We won't cure cancer. We make too much money. We won't talk flat earth. NASA spent too much money. So it says, leave it to, I made these, by the way, these memes. Leave it to us to decide for you, while we reserve all the research for ourselves. Take our word for what we claim to see. Because after all, guys, this guy says the earth is pear-shaped. He's living on a pear world. You want to join him? No need to learn or teach. Just listen and parrot our information to your kin. We're too big to challenge. Masonic G equals gravity Gad. 95% of our Earth's ocean remain undiscovered. Why is that? Yeah, we seem to somehow, they know more about planets and celestial bodies, and we've seen all kinds of things. Like, yeah, okay, we're like practically space traveling. Like, you know, every time they talk about space and, oh, visit Mars and landed modules on asteroids and stuff, like it's like every time you hear, you know, 2016, go and listen to anything. It's like they always act like, you know, 5, 10 years from now we're gonna be fucking Star Trekking it, you know, across the galaxy or some shit. And yet 95%, I could understand if at least, you know, 65, 70% of our ocean was unexplored. I know it gets very deep, and you know, but why is something that keeps our eyes, you know, keeps us thinking up, but our eyes are never up there. We never actually have the experience to see or to prove that we're going into space and all this stuff. And yet 95% of our ocean's unexplored. NASA makes trillions of dollars per year, and we can't do anything to explore the ocean. But as you saw, NASA scuba suits, they train underwater. I'm going to get to, I might do a part 2 of this video because we're running on time here, but I might get to part 2 of this video. I'll explain a little bit more about my theory. White sunlight, glass prism, massive bend, right? Pyramid symbology. There's a reason these things are out there. That's why I put this in there. Oh, that's the Hunger Games. Hunger Games, you know, Hunger Games style living. Westworld is another one. You know, why, you know, already just some of the messages in these shows, these dystopic movies, what they mean about our nature, our consciousness, our realization of where we are, who we are, the world that we live in. There's a lot of things. I put the Zen. I don't know why. I forget why I did this. There's a lot of. I forget why I put some of these in here. The dinosaurs is another one. It's basically a painting. Shirt. Here's like old. Now I wanted to do this because I'm going to get more into my theory on NASA. And look, I mean, early scuba suits, very similar. Have you ever seen modern new scuba suits? Why is there, look, very similar to NASA? Why are scuba suits? Sea scuba suit, astronaut suit. Think about it. There's another underwater scuba suit. Here's that ring I was talking about. See, they create a ring, right? Here's water, underwater. There's a denser water. This is a ring around on the Gulf of Mexico. And these things, imagine this is the ice wall, right? Antarctica around our world. This is the water of our world. If you were to just have some dirt, you know, put some dirt on top of this, make a little, you know, world map right here in this circle, and then put a giant, create a fish tank, basically make a fish tank, like a custom fish tank, like as if you're making a custom fish tank for a customer, a nice curved big dome fish tank, but then just put it underwater, put it right over this ice ring, or this ring underwater, the little model Earth sandcastle, suck the air out or pump some oxygen in, like, you know, whatever, suck the water out, and then you'll have this denser water remain. There you go. Dome over the Earth. Dinosaurs. Wait, why can't we really explore Antarctica? Yeah, because the Earth is flat. What was that? Yep, see, here we go. Antarctic Treaty. Fucking ridiculous. A bunch of liars about the true nature of where we are. Here's an example. Basically what somebody did was they took Antarctica and they inverted it. This is where we are. The Rothschilds own everything. There's another flat Earth model. There's the Antarctic Treaty. That's how many nations are involved. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Look, there you go. Underwater base, underwater search. Fake. It's a picture that Eric Dubay uses frequently to demonstrate. Here's a symbol. Notice that symbol of power button. And this is what they do, the council. That's what they represent, power, right? I think this is the UN or Antarctic, see? Power. Real dinosaurs right there. The fact that they're hiding giants. I'm going to have to continue this video. I'm back for part 2. So here we go. Look at this. Here's a NASA budget. It's trillions, billions of dollars. 16. You know, look at it. 0.2. We're talking trillions, billions of dollars. 16,865.2 trillion or billion. By 2019, this is how much they expect from you. Who do you think's paying them? Who do you fucking think they're getting all this money from? They're gonna want $18 billion or trillion, $18 trillion by 2019. The budget just keeps fucking going up. It's ridiculous. By only little amounts, because they already know that's such a ridiculous amount of money. Where's it all fucking going to? Who's using keeping up this elaborate ruse, this illusion, making it seem like it's legitimate? But look at these fucking numbers. Look how much more money is going into these fucking particular things. You think the majority of money would go into space technology. How much do they actually need for space technology then? Aeronautics. But look, going into the Earth science, planetary science. Look at this. Astrophysics doesn't earn that much. Space telescope. Heliophysics. It's all bullshit. Exploration systems development. That's where the majority of the money goes into. What do you think that means? It doesn't have to be space exploration. Look at commercial space flight. Look at these amounts. And exploration, research, and development. Look how low. So here's space operations, right? A lot of money going there. Ooh, how much money goes to the elaborate the International Space Station with the zero gravity planes and the stage sets and all the special lighting and all that bullshit. It's not cheap. But look at the space shuttle though. 30. What is that? Why? Space and flight support. Yeah, nothing. Education. Not much going to education. Cross agency support. Center management. Look at this though. Find this really fucking interesting, right? Look at that low amount. I mean, it's not a low amount. I mean, we're still talking billions of trillions of dollars, but construction of facilities. Look how much. This is sad. Environmental compliance and restoration. I don't care much about the environment. 50 only the lowest amount. Inspector General. It's like it's a joke. It's a ruse. But this is the budget. This is how much they make for NASA. They make trillions of dollars, and yet 95% of our ocean still completely unexplored, or so they say. I have a theory about that. There's a picture from the new Hunger Games. There's some more symbolism, right? NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer X whatever, like 15th of May, 3rd of May 2015. The other 95%, a campaign to map Earth's last frontier. Only 5% of our world's oceans have been mapped. The NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer is actively participating in exploratory mapping expeditions to increase our understanding of this seafloor. But how long would it take just the Okeanos to complete mapping of the other 95%? If funds were unlimited, what would a campaign to map the oceans look like? Then you just see Simone divide and conquer. Because this agency, NOAA, Simone, they don't fucking work for us. They don't work to actually fucking do anything. And they don't even get that big of a budget anyways. And yet, look, their mission is to divide and conquer. I mean, where have we heard that before? Masons. They control all of this. This is the reason why only 5% of our world's oceans have been mapped publicly. We don't know what NASA's really been doing. Look at this. It's ridiculous. Again, I have a theory, and I'll just tell you my theory now. My theory is that NASA really, the whole point of all the space agencies being right next to water is because there is no International Space Station. I believe they have underwater stations, and that what we do is we fucking patrol underwater. That what we're really doing, where we really are, is fucking going underwater. They really do use that money in that budget to actually explore underwater and cover up evidence of the biblical evidence, or the evidence of giants and other discoveries, cities, and to discover ancient technology and these types of things. They're basically mopping up the ocean floor and claiming that we haven't actually explored it before we actually do, so that there's going to be nothing left to actually explore or discover. That'd be very informative on our origins, our humanity, why we're here, what happened before this, what have you. Here's some more dome symbolism. Use domes. So again, you have domes, symbolism. This is an awesome, beautiful picture. Just wrap your head around this for a fucking minute. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of miles of cold ice, icebergs, completely unexplored. Imagine a sheer ice wall, and then what? Infinite space, infinite travel around here. There could be another pond somewhere over here. We consider this one whole world, but what our world actually could be larger. It could be actually globular. Our Earth, though, is flat because it's on that world, and the world that we're actually on is such a massive, massive world. And then it's so interesting because people who do live on the outside, group of maybe people, ancient people, or the gods, put domes over every other pond, right? And we're living on a massive, 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 massive globe Earth that ended in catastrophe, that there was an ice age and everything else. There could be all land. All this, there could be land all over here, but we're left and isolated to singular domes. Just imagine that. Perplex yourself with that for a minute. The reality of that. It's amazing. All right. Submarine breaching the fucking ice is just more patrolling, making sure we don't pass. See, sports, but we pretty much the Illuminati, the Masons, the elite laughing at us, demonstrating our society, displaying humanity in what? In domes, right? Everything's under dome. We create domes within the dome. They're more scuba diving and astronaut suits. And look at this. What are these? These are actual scuba suits. Astronaut fucking scuba suits. The U.S. Navy. Think about it. Look at what we're facing here. Are we really going into space, or maybe there's something more to what's going on? Water under the water. This is more evidence of water under the water. Denser water. There's fake dinosaurs. Some more images of the ice wall. Forget why I put those photos in there. Here's yep, level. There's more domes. Everything's level. Here's Game of Thrones. More subliminal messaging. The giant ice wall. Aliens coming over that. There's other, saying there's other beings or whatever over the ice wall. So here's something interesting. This is what I want to show. Oh, so ocean depths and exploration methods. So far, this is all we have. We have a fucking scuba suit, 40 meters down, right? And look, sea level. The Kittredge, 100 meters down. Mini ROV, 300 meters down. Research ROV, 4,000 meters. Alvin, look at autonomous underwater vehicles. They're autonomous, so that's just a drone. 6,000. There's a Geolong, Asian Trieste, and Deep Sea Challenger. Interesting. Fucking 11,000 meters. That's as far as we've gone. That's all we've done. Look at this technology. Look at some of these things. And then look at what NASA's doing. The budget. I have some photos here of the, here's some more military patrolling the dome. There's Hollywood. Truman Show. Fucking dome. This is 20 miles high. Get more images of flat Earth. There's the UN, because that's where they keep you focused. Here's the dome that in the Hunger Games she breaks through, subliminal breaking through the dome. The village, more examples of basically living in an illusion, living in an isolated world. Could be kept living in the past. We don't actually realize just what's out there. Living in a world that they progress at their speed, the way they want us to progress. When they creep all this technology. These special fucking research stations out in Antarctica. Pieced together, basically admitted that the Google Earth image is just pieced together. More bullshit of these paintings, basically, that they show us time and time again. These photorealistic paintings. How big does, everything change? Clouds never really change. They change sometimes, but they're just stationary. We're supposed to be spinning millions of miles an hour. It's fucking ridiculous. And then look at this. Country gets bigger. What the hell's going on here? What are these fucking photos? It makes no sense. I only have 5 minutes left. Rainbow, see, there's the dome. Rainbow proves that we live in a dome Earth. And again, what's the rainbow too? The rainbow is God's promise that there will not be another flood. And what was the flood? God opening up the firmament, opening up the opening up a port from the water to release the waters above into the waters below. How else can you flood the earth? Think about it. There's some truth that we need to understand, and we're being deceived. More massive ice walls. This is the real Antarctica. Massive ice walls. Some secret German airplanes flying over expeditions. Fake moon landing. Hey, look at this. Scuba diving. Scuba suits. Oh, what do you know? Look, here's the pyramid without the capstone. You know what this is? The Antarctic Commission. This is the Antarctic Treaty. Right there. Look at that. That's the Antarctic Commission. And sitting in a pyramid. So it's more dome symbolism of religious structures. Yeah, popular video games, the whole snow globe thing, the whole domes. I put that one up there because I thought it was funny. Like test site. Yeah, definitely living in an experiment. More water under the water. 95% of Earth's oceans remain undiscovered. Fake images. Look at all the brainwash that we get on a daily basis. The image of power again. It's a firmament, right? Sort of the firmament. If you don't read the Bible, all you can do is read the first books. You'll find out. The giver, more the God again, the God figure, similar to Hunger Games with Donald Sutherland's character. The giver, the God figure. Yep, this is apparently how, we know all this, we've mapped this, we've seen that. Well, how have we seen that? They even said we're able to do that yet. Oh, but yet we've been there. Oh, we see that through telescopes. How can we see that through telescopes if on the telescope they show and say we're here? So where's the telescope coming from another world? How can we see that? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's all fucking complete bullshit. The people need to realize it just doesn't make any sense. We don't have the technology to go out there, so how did they get that photo? Stupid. Same thing, like basically the moon landing. That was the first ever landing on the moon, but the camera guys were there first, ready and waiting. Look at this. These are the guys, the military. They'll kill you. These guys have the order to shoot and kill him. Why was there a war going on in the barren wasteland of Antarctica? What's the need for this? The military patrolling it. That's what they do. They patrol it. They're there, making sure that you don't go there. How long would it take the Okeanos explorer to map the world's ocean? I guess it's coming from Noah too, acting like this is the only thing, right? Ignoring all the other shit. 1,042 years. Basically saying, don't count on it. Look at this shit. It's bullcrap. Remember the journey to the center of the earth? Exactly. And in this movie, they added a flat earth image. More fake images, fake paintings. Here's the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, basically showing it just goes around the dome. Just goes out of perception. It's moving miles and miles away. Looks like it's going down, but it's not. You just can't see it. It's all perception. Remember the pyramid, the Illuminati eye. What is it? It's perception. It's sight beyond sight. It's perception. It's the illumination. Everything, you look, and everything goes forward. It comes to a point. It creates a pyramid. That's what the pyramid on the Illuminati eye really stands for. Is not watching you. Is not the all-seeing eye. It represents, we know the truth. It's perception. That's the truth, to see the reality. It's light. The light on the top of the pyramid. It's perception. It's sight beyond sight. Seeing the truth about the flat earth. That's what it is. That's what they're hiding. It's the most important truth. With 95% of oceans, explore whatever. Here's something interesting. I'm gonna have to make another fucking video. Technology roadmap and space propulsion. This is all look at all this bullshit. All the bullshit that they've done and come up with. It's ridiculous. It's Masonic. Worshipping the pyramid. These are all the early astronauts. Oh, future NASA city. Great, yeah. More water. Alright, here's part 3. So yeah, I mean, look, waters under the waters. Um, why does the ocean, when the ocean meets the rivers, all level, right? They all find level ground. Why don't the oceans contaminate the rivers? Why do they stop? Why is there this like barrier where like you can literally, it's like being like over the state border, like one side of your body you're in, New York, and the other side you're in New Jersey. Why is that? You can, it's like the border, right? It's like this invisible line. It's like the same thing. It's like you're telling me you can be like half your body can be swimming in this invisible barrier of fresh water, and then you have this other side of your body is in the borderline of visible barrier of, salt water, seawater. Why is that? Why is that with the denser waters? Why the separation? You ever do the experiment when you're a kid? You put oil in a bottle with water, and they separate. You can put other liquids in, and they separate. You can even do the same thing. Then you just like do the thing with to test buoyancy and density. You drop different objects in, and one floats here, and the other floats there. And we'll do that experiment in just oil, and then just water, and then do the oil and water experiment, but do the same thing with the same objects in that, and see what happens. I mean, it's a very interesting thing to note, but like again, salt, sodium, the temperature, the cold, like what, air, we're dealing with gases here, trapped gases. Water is H2O, it's hydrogen and oxygen. So fresh water is without the salt. And why does that separate? Why the separation? Because of it. There must be something that the denser waters, the colder waters, the salt content add to the density or the mass, the weight, whatever. And then of course you have land masses in between. The majority of the seawater is just kind of open. You have this like through the soil, when they're hitting the earth, this filtration. Again, we're dealing with particles, minerals, nutrients. We're dealing with gases, fluids, elements of the earth, of this planet, that all have their own frequency, their own weight, mass, density, their own properties, and combined, this is the science behind the real geography of the planet, and why everything really works the way it works. It's not gravity to explain it all. There's a lot more factors, mathematics and experimentation that goes into the science and understanding of how our world works and operates, and the changing of the tides, the oceans. Okay. Again, in your house, cold air sinks, it drifts, and hot air rises. Just like hot air balloons. Why hot air balloons work is because the oxygen around it is denser, thicker. It's just oxygen is cooler than the air inside the hot air balloon. It allows the hot air balloon to rise, and it's kept in a dome. It's kept in an object. It's kept in a thing. So a lot of our Earth, a lot of the science behind the way the Earth works the way it does, oxygen in our atmosphere, the levels of our atmosphere, you have the ionosphere, the stratosphere, all these different things that it could be explained if people understood the truth about and the truth of the nature of our existence and where we are. It explains the levels of these of these things. Again, sea level, or all these levels or horizon, because we live in a flat earth, and that's why it explain all this stuff if people knew. But there's a lot of just things that just don't add up, but we don't care to question, because we don't want to question the authorities, our teachers tell us that the earth is a globe, a spinning ball. It's ridiculous. Noah and the connection to Noah, there's a reason why the fucking NOAA is set to explore the Earth. They'll never fucking explore the Earth, because meanwhile NASA, the real ones who are really meant to explore the ocean's bottom, are mopping it all up. That's why you have the connections, why they named the National Oceanographic Atmospheric, whatever, NOAA, NOAA, they named it Noah, because after the Noah, and they're the ones who are supposed to, with the Okeanos, whatever, right? Because that's the connection. They named that fucking Noah because they're the ones, just a ship riding around. Meanwhile, NASA is the real one fucking mopping up the bottom of the ocean. And then that's the whole connection with the Noah, and thinking that Noah is the one to explore. When there's Noah, the reason why NASA would be doing that, and Noah is the one supposed to be doing this, because Noah, the whole flood, again. So you have the bottom of the ocean. Here's more, look, flat earth symbolism. This is the Antarctic Commission. Another. Here you have the ring, right? The ring, the dome. What are we looking at here? What is with this You know, here's more water within the water. So this guy's underwater, and there's water underwater. Like, come on, how many people know that? Dome. We're programmed as children. Everyone knows to play on that dome. There they are, grown up. And you grow up. This is the, you know, see, there's the dome. When you grow up, you go to the tailgate. You know, we live. People don't see it. And there's, them scaling the wall. Here's the Hunger Games. And again, Westworld. And Westworld was a beautiful series. I just finished watching the series Westworld. First of all, the story is incredible. Pretty amazing revelations as far as like what they're talking about in the show. I mean, if you understand what they were talking about in the show, the whole thing about the maze and finding consciousness and the parallels between our world and that world, but then within that world, within the story of Westworld, the parallels of what they're basically saying about them living in their world, this illusion, this Westworld, when there is a real world outside, which is supposed to be our world. And it's interesting, you take all of that and actually draw parallels to our world, to our real world in the same respect. And what they're talking about is so, it's like truthers, know exactly what they're talking about. But people need to realize that because they're telling you, they're basically in plain sight, telling you the truth, telling you what needs to happen, the truth of, the living in the lie. The fact of the matter is that the reality is that if you were to draw the parallel, basically, I'll tell you the answer. The hosts of Westworld, in reality, drawing parallels, are actually us. What our world is right now, we're the host of Westworld. The game, the experiment, the guests, or remember they call them the gods, but we're supposed to be us, the real people. That doesn't exist. It's simply the fact that, it's, again, finding consciousness, looking within to expand your consciousness, to realize the prison that you're in. The false world, the illusionistic world that you're in. And again, it's just, I don't know, I don't know how else to explain it, but the hosts are the real human beings. That's pretty much how our world really is. We're the host. We're Westworld. And unless you open up and expand your consciousness, you're living in this fictional world, this world stage. Everything is being planned and done around you. You need to wake up. You need to free yourself. You need to see the prison. You need to see the end, the edge. And the only way to do that is to expand your consciousness. Look at this bullshit. Our solar system. This is where we are right here. So who's taking this photo? This doesn't make any sense. When you always see these, look, the eye, the 666. It's ridiculous. I mean, God. Wow. Yep. Bunch of bullshit. There's Earth, Venus, and Mercury. Oh, wonderful. That's the power button again. We got to settle for something. Don't think too deeply. We clearly just changed it. Basically, as in, we got to settle for something, because it's globe model, flat Earth model, and that's just started to come out. So they decided, well, if we're going to change it, let's change it. Oh, it's pear-shaped. Oh, okay. Wonderful. This is, I forget what this image is. Like we're looking at light bending or sound or something. I forget. Like I said, I had this idea for this video I wanted to make, and I never put it together, so I honestly forget what a lot of these photos what the purpose of these photos was to serve originally. Here's more images of the military patrolling the ice wall. Here's an image of the Hunger Games Dome. There's more globes. Surveillance. Yeah. There's the rainbow, the light reflecting. Remember, the light reflecting. The reason why I show those pyramid, the Pink Floyd, because the way the light bends through a prism. Well, how does light bend through a dome? This is how. And patrolling. More than patrolling this fake ass fucking photo painting. There's Donald Sutherland's character, similar to the character of The Giver. It showed, remember snow, and then see globes, snow globes or snow domes, brainwashing since we were children, these different things. So here's something really. Here's a NASA budget, 2000 budget. So see, here's the budget. It's how much they fucking earn. Millions of US dollars, whatever. Taxes. It's coming from us. Less than 1% of the world's oceans have been fully protected. Yet we're doing this apparently. That's CGI and that's like composite. Here's the way the stars actually move. This is the time-lapse photo of stars moving around in just one view. Like, so it's the dome. This is just one side. So that's, you know, look at that. Oh. We know this, but we haven't explored 95% of our ocean. We've done that somehow, apparently. Massive ice wall. This is supposed Antarctica. Beautiful Zen photos. Here's the more dome symbolism. Oh, this is the recent. This was in the series Arrow, series that I really fucking like. But Damien Darhk's plan, a lot of it was very like Illuminati and stuff. And of course, an underground dome, the new city, the new world. And look what they used. They used domes. And of course, Hive. They're Hive, so then you have the Hive symbolism, which has been used lately. Hive Mind, Returning of the Antichrist, a connection of this show, and then Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the other use of Hive and hive minding and zombieism. It's just the parallels from one television show to another, and movies in modern entertainment these days is absolutely, it's just ridiculous. Here's the movie The Giver, living on they live on the edge. On the wall, he's supposed to be like the God figure, the Godhead, knows everything, knows about the past, has the real history, the real library. This could be our world, right? And on the edge is the God, could be an actual civilization, a whole world out there that knows the truth, and we're all trapped in this illusion. Left to our own devices, was a few people took power, decided to take advantage of it because they maybe got to the edge or came from the edge and figured out, oh yeah, we explored Pluto, but then all of a sudden, then we said Pluto. How do we explore Pluto? That doesn't make any sense. So we've been to Pluto, and then oh yeah, okay. Here's Hunger Games shooting of the dome, subliminal. Big Fish, right? I put that up there because the story, the idea of the story, again, the same thing, the idea of the expanding of the consciousness. Well, the interesting message about this story was, again, being the main character in your own life. But the whole time, the thing about this was that he was a big fish in a small pond. And if you put that into, I don't know, I'll let you guys draw the parallels and the connections to the flat Earth and whatnot, and how I'll let you interpret it. These are German military aircraft, I believe World War II, secret military planes or whatever, exploring the flat Earth. See, there's a queen hitting the dome. Look at it. See, and it's a dome, and it has this picture, this illusion. We don't even know. That's scary. Can you imagine? I forget why I put those up there. Jeez. Oh, here's underwater. Or the city of Atlantis. There's more symbolism, but this could be, that's it. I thought I had more. Anyways, the underwater dome could be NASA could be underwater having facilities like that. Well, the point is, so this is what I wanted to show you. So again, the ice wall, this stuff. There's just so my theory on NASA is that they explore underwater. And again, I'm not going to explain too much. I'm just showing you some photos and just saying some things about them. But you can go do the research on your own. I really would hope that you would. There's a lot of people out there who have exposed a lot of great research and give you a lot of facts and things you can do and experiment for yourself. But for me, from my perspective, I do believe we live on a flat Earth. But I do believe that NASA is using the money. But I don't believe it's for a good purpose or for the intended purpose. I believe they're deceiving us by hiding the truth, which is indeed in our oceans that are still somehow 95% unexplored. And we're supposed to believe that. And I think they're down there hiding the truth from us. And we need to soon figure that out. So, all right, let it be known.